Office of the Registrar. I'm joined by my colleague Nagarish, who's also an academic advisor in the Office of the Registrar. And also we have advisors from the departments, UTM departments of biology and psychological and brain sciences joining us this afternoon. And last but not least, we have Brendan and Amal, who are our Eagle Connect squad leaders, some of our Eagle Connect squad leaders, here to sort of give you the student perspective on course enrollment and all things related to first year course enrollment. So just a couple of sort of housekeeping items before we begin. We're going to go over the agenda for the webinar, do a land acknowledgement, and I should let you know there will be 2 intermissions where our squad leaders will again give you some perspective on first year course enrollment from the student perspective. And you're encouraged to put your questions in the chat or hold your questions until the end. We're hoping to have plenty of time to do a sort of Q&A session at the end. So first and foremost, welcome, and we'll get right into the land acknowledgement. So the acknowledgement of traditional land. We wish to acknowledge this land on which the University of Toronto operates. For thousands of years, it has been the traditional land of the Wendat Nation, the Seneca, and the Mississaugas of the Credit. Today, this meeting place is still the home to many Indigenous people from across Turtle Island, and we are grateful to have the opportunity to work on this land. So our agenda for this afternoon, we're going to look at some key dates that are coming up in terms of your course enrollment, help you understand your degree requirements a little bit better, a lot of content about choosing your program and how you go about approaching that, program or programs, course selection, the fundamentals of course selection, planning resources available to you, and also the next steps after you've enrolled in your courses, payment methods, how you get your student card, which here at the University of Toronto is known as your T card. So some key dates coming up. Most of the students in this webinar will probably be considered year 1 students. So your course enrollment date is coming up on July the 15th. A couple of days prior, I think it's on July 10th, you'll be able to access Acorn and find out the start time that you'll be able to start enrollment on July 15th. Start times are staggered just to make sure that the system isn't overwhelmed. So just be sure to check on July 10th for the time on July 15th that you'll be able to start enrolling in your courses. If you're a year 2 student, perhaps you got some transfer credit awarded to you, your course enrollment date is coming up next Thursday, July the 9th, and year 3 students started enrolling yesterday, July the 2nd. Once you've enrolled in your courses, the deadline to pay or defer your fees is August 18th. So you have some time after you've enrolled in your courses because your invoice is based on the number of courses that you enroll in. First day of classes this fall is September the 8th, and the deadline to add or drop F or Y courses is September the 21st. So earning a degree at the University of Toronto involves completing degree requirements and program requirements. So these are the requirements for all students in order to be eligible to graduate. Successful completion of your degree requirements and your acceptable combination of programs, which we'll get into a little bit later as well. The University of Toronto, we offer 4 different types of degrees: the Honors Bachelor of Arts degree, Honors Bachelor of Science, the Bachelor of Commerce, and the Bachelor of Business Administration. So looking at your degree requirements, all students have to complete a general set of requirements to earn a University of Toronto degree. Some of the components of your degree requirements, you must complete 20 credits total, earning a cumulative grade point average, otherwise known as a CGPA, of 1.85 or more by graduation. And there's some other basics as well. You also, in combination with your degree requirements, as I mentioned, you have to complete Program requirements, an acceptable combination of programs. Traditionally, generally, the acceptable program combination pathways that students complete are one specialist program, two majors, or one major and two minors. You also must complete distribution requirements, 3.0 credits total, 1.0 credits each of humanities courses, social sciences courses, and sciences courses. That helps diversify your degree a little bit. And of the 20 credits that you need to complete to earn your degree is a requirement to complete at least 13 credits at the 200 or higher level, with at least 6.0 credits at the 300, 400 level. Programs of study. UTM has over 180 programs for you to choose from. So you can really tailor your experience and create sort of program combinations that align with your future goals and that are unique to you. We'll talk about the different types of programs now, starting with the specialist program. So of your 20 credits required to graduate, a specialist program generally consists of about 10 to 18 credits. And that sort of guideline, you can decide or you can determine exactly how many credits the specialist program you may be interested in by reviewing reviewing the information in the academic calendar. So some specialists may have 10 credits, some specialists may have up to 18 credits. Next is majors. Again, you can complete two majors or a major and two minors. If you're going to complete a major program, the major will usually consist of anywhere between 6.5 to 9 credits. And then for a minor program, minors usually consist of about 4 to 4.5 credits. So again, you can customize your degree, you can specialize if you want, focus on one program, or you can combine up to 3 programs to diversify your interests and goals. So you could theoretically complete a specialist program and a minor. Students at UTM can complete up to 3 programs maximum, provided that at least one of those programs is a minor program. So choosing your programs. Again, first year is the best time to explore all of the undergraduate programs at UTM. With over 180 programs, it's a really good opportunity just to get into the academic calendar. You may have an idea of what programs you're interested in, but just explore. You may be surprised. You may take some courses for your distribution requirements and find that you really enjoy those courses and might want to look into whether or not to do a program, even a minor in that area. So prepare is also very important because some programs are more competitive than others, and we'll talk a little bit about that shortly. Entry requirements are listed in detail in the academic calendar to help you to prepare and course plan accordingly. And then apply. You choose your program at the end of the first year or once you've earned a total of 4.0 credits. Again, we'll talk a little bit more about the different types of programs, timing of when you can apply or enroll in those programs. So at UTM, there's 3 different types of programs. Type 1 programs have unlimited spaces. They're open to all students, and you can enroll in them at any time. There's automatically you're approved by the academic department offering the program because of the fact that there's no program entry requirements. So there's a lot of flexibility. You can enroll in a type 1 program and then just course plan to complete the program requirements. Type 2 programs are competitive. There are still unlimited spaces in the program similar to type 1 programs, but you must meet program entry requirements, which may involve completing specific courses, achieving certain grades, or a certain CGPA. And again, you can find all this information, what are the program entry requirements for the program that I'm interested in the academic calendar. Type 3 programs are also competitive. The difference between type 3 and type 2 programs, type 3 programs have limited spaces. So you're competing for a space in that program. Again, similar to type 2 programs, you must meet the program entry requirements, which again may involve completing specific courses, achieving certain grades, or meeting a minimum CGPA requirement. So again, all this information, if you're looking for whether your program that you're interested in or programs that you're interested in have program admission requirements, the academic calendar will be your guide. So a few tips here, as we've mentioned so far, take time to explore UTM's programs, plan ahead as much as you can, look at the calendar, course plan. Are there specific courses that you need to take to position yourself to apply for your program of interest? And it's okay to change your mind or not know what to study. First year is the best time to explore your options. And you can change your courses, programs, and find the fit that sort of aligns with your interests and future goals. Distribution requirements that we discussed help you explore other program areas, diversify a little bit, and they also count as your electives. And lastly, we're here to help. The Office of the Registrar, the Career Center. There's UTM1 courses that you can take for credit that also count towards distribution requirements. The launch program, that's those launch courses. I don't know if you've heard the term launch yet, but they are free courses, help you build your academic strengths and skills, and just build community too as well. So look into launch if you have a chance as well. And in terms of just tracking your progress when you're trying to complete your degree and program requirements to position yourself to ultimately for graduation, Degree Explorer is your go-to tool. This is sort of an overview of Degree Explorer, but Degree Explorer is your reference to check which degree and program requirements you've completed and which are outstanding. You can use the planning tool to forecast which courses you should be taking. And there's a lot of videos about Degree Explorer that you can learn more about it through Quercus. And now I'm just going to pass it along to Brandon and Amal just to discuss Degree Explorer and their first year experiences a little bit more for you.
Yeah. Personally, myself, like looking back at my first year at UTM, I wasn't sure which programs I wanted to complete. And because of that, I wanted to take electives that would help me fulfill my degree requirements while still letting me explore my options.
So, Brandon, what tools did you use to help you manage that?
I mostly used the Degree Explorer tool to check my degree requirements, and that helped me pick electives that actually covered my distribution requirements that I needed as well.
Wow, that sounds really helpful. How did you make sure you were meeting your program's enrollment requirements while you were exploring?
See, so that's a really good question. I actually used the UTM academic calendar to look at the different program enrollment requirements because there's many in there. And I picked my courses based on what I found. This is really helpful because my course choices in my first year gave me a lot of flexibility to choose my program and study later on. It's what led me to pursue the program I was most interested in, which is forensic biology. And an education studies minor, which is really nice.
Having the flexibility to pick electives and explore program options was my favorite part of first year. I encourage all of you to use tools like Degree Explorer and the academic calendar to stay informed when you're picking your courses. Good luck in your first year and have fun exploring your academic pathways.
Mhm.
Thank you
So,
very
Brandon,
much. Oh,
oh,
sorry, go
sorry.
ahead. Go ahead.
So, a quick question for Brandon. What were you initially planning on majoring, and how did your first year course enrollment affect that?
So I was initially planning on majoring in a biology specialist. And so I took a forensic course just like on the side because I thought that would be interesting. And so that led to me actually switching into the forensic biology major. So thank you.
That's great. Thank you. Both of you, thank you for that. So just to sum up the first section of our presentation, key takeaways, explore the calendar, take as much time as you can, Explore the site, understand how to use the academic calendar and how to navigate it to get what you need out of it. Looking at those program entry requirements. This is key and it's your first step. And explore those program options. Use the course enrollment workbook to help guide you through some of the important questions that arise when you're planning for first year enrollment, and explore those course options. We'll talk about a little bit later in this presentation, what is a full-time course load? How do I read a course code? We answer all these questions and more in these course enrollment workshops. If you have any colleagues who haven't been able to attend today, we've got another one coming up on Monday, another course enrollment workshop. So encourage them to join, and we hope this has been helpful for you. I'm just going to turn it over to my colleague Nagarish to take over now.
Thank you. Alrighty, so like Melody mentioned, we're kind of get more into course loads, course planning, understanding course codes. So a big part of the academic calendar is being able to read the academic calendar, because those course codes do provide you with a lot of important information just from those 7 characters, 8 characters. So I'll break it down the next bowl. So course codes will tell you what program the course belongs to, the level of the course. So is it a first year, a second year, a third year, and then the credit value. And then with that, it'll also tell you when it's being offered and which campus is offering the course. So for example, if we use this as our sample course, it's ENG 101 H5F. So those first 3 characters indicate the department or the program that's offering the course. So in this case, first 3 characters are ENG. ENG means it's English. The first number indicates the level of study. So it's 1 means it's an 100 level course, and 100 level courses are the first year or introductory courses, whereas something with a 4 or a 400 level course are usually the more advanced courses, and they're intended for upper year students. So if you're entering your first year, likely a majority of your courses will be at the 100 level. Those 3 numbers together is the identity of the course. And this is how you can make sure you're looking at the right course between the calendar, timetable builder, and on Acorn. It's really important that you pay close attention to it though, because changing 1 digit can make all the difference between how to read critically versus how to research literature, which you can see is ENG 102 H5. The next character will either be an H or a Y, and it'll tell you the weight of the course. So at UTM, we either have it as H, which is half a credit, meaning it's worth 0.5 full credits, or a Y, meaning it's a full credit course, so it's worth 1.0 credits. So you can see when you're planning towards your 20 credits, how the courses you take will start to add up. Next, this number indicates the campus that is offering the course. So at U of T, we have 3 campuses. We have UTM, which is the campus in Mississauga. We have St. George, also called Faculty of Arts and Science. And then we have UTSC, which is the Scarborough campus. So 5 indicates that UTM. 1 would indicate it's a UTSG course or a St. George course. And 3 would indicate it's a UTSC or a Scarborough course. Which, along with that, you can actually take courses at other campuses. We do recommend that in your first year, you mainly prioritize your UTM courses, and then depending on if you're interested in courses at St. George or Scarborough, maybe look at taking some in your upper years. And then the last letter will either be an F, an S, or a Y. And so this identifies the session the course is being offered in and the duration of it. So in the fall, winter, F courses, also known as first subsession or fall, mean it's running September to December. So it's within the fall semester. In the summer, this would be that May-June term. S courses mean the course runs January to April, also known as second semester, winter semester, spring semester. In the summer, this would be referring to the July-August. Y means it's running the full session. So in fall, winter, it runs September to April. Summer, this would mean the course is running May to August. You can see it tells you a lot of information just from those 9 digits. All right, now that we all know how to read course codes, now it's time to start actually building the schedule. So Timetable Builder is the resource for that. That's where you can check course availability, see when they're being offered. And at this time, I'm going to call back Brandon and Amal to talk a little bit more about their experiences.
So, Amal, I wanted to ask, like, how did you go about building your timetable in first year?
I found it challenging at first because each course would have different lectures, tutorials, and labs, and it was really hard to see how everything fit together. But the UTM timetable builder was a huge help because I could create different versions of my schedule and catch conflicts before enrollment opened.
That's true. Like, I still use Timetable Builder now as an upper year student, for example, to see course syllabuses from previous years. Were then any other resources that helped you when you're enrolling for the first time?
I think along with Timetable Builder, the course enrollment workbook was great. It broke everything down into manageable steps and helped me figure out which courses I should prioritize, how to plan for my program requirements, and where to find important enrollment resources. I remember filling it out before my enrollment date and feeling way more prepared.
I agree. The workbook was a great starting point because it made the process feel less intimidating. I'd also recommend attending check-ins and asking questions if you're unsure about something. It never hurts to ask. There's so many supports available, and you don't have to figure it all out on your own.
Exactly. Try out the timetable builder, use the workbook, and don't be afraid to reach out for help. Course enrollment can seem really stressful at first, and I remember very well how stressed I was. But trust me, once you start exploring your options, it becomes so much more manageable. Good luck, everyone, and welcome to UTM.
Thank you both again. So, like they mentioned, some courses might have multiple sections. So along with using the timetable builder, if you see your course has a lecture, a tutorial, and practical, you must ensure that you enroll in one of each. Not every course will have all 3. Some courses might just be a lecture, some might be a lecture tutorial, some might have all 3. So it's important you do that research ahead of time to know what the course has, how many sections there are, so that you can plan accordingly. Now, course loads. This is a common question we get as well, is how many courses do I need to be considered full-time? So at UTM, your full-time, part-time status gets assessed based on the amount of credits you're enrolled into for a given session. So in the fall winter, students are considered full-time if they're enrolled into 3.0 credits or more in the fall winter. And then they're considered part-time if they're enrolled into fewer, so 2.5 credits or fewer, you'd be considered part-time over the fall winter. That being said, for any of our international students or students receiving government student funding, it is important that you double check if there are per terms or per semester credit loads that you need to meet in order to be considered full-time. So if that applies to you, make sure you research that to know. But from UTM, it's 3.0 over the fall winter, regardless how that's divided. With that as well, we do have a lot of supports for our international students. So through our International Education Center, also called the IEC, we have immigration advising. So any students who need support with study permits, visa applications, we have immigration advising and immigration advisors available through the IEC. We have transition support and programming, the University Health Insurance Plan, global learning opportunities. So domestic or international students who are interested in studying abroad, they would be the folks to connect with, and also some employment supports. So we do have the link there. UTM is also quite Googleable. So if you need to find it, UTM IEC or whatever you're looking for, most of the time it'll pop up within the first few links. Now, some general tips. Another question we get quite often is, what's the standard course load? What's the average course load? So the standard course load in the fall winter is 5 credits. And I say it with quotations because this is a standard on the basis of you want to graduate in 4 years. So if you remember what Melanie was explaining, you need minimum 20 to graduate. If you need 20 credits to graduate and you want to graduate in 4 years, 20 divided by 4 would be 5 credits in the fall winter. That being said, a lot of students and a lot of full-time students, and especially in their first year, will take fewer than 5 credits in the fall winter and then use the summer session to catch up. So I've commonly seen between 4 to 5 credits in students' first year, and then using summer to catch up. And then based on that, you can see what credit load works for you. With that as well, an important note is to make sure you remove conflicts from your schedule. You can't be in 2 places at once. There are nuances to this, and I will give you an example of that in a few slides. But in general, you want to be checking to make sure you don't have any conflicts. With that as well, you can make changes to your timetable throughout the summer with no penalties. So your enrollment date is not the all or nothing date. You can make changes as you go along. If you want to switch courses, switch sections, etc. But once classes start, you do become responsible for any fees or academic work in the course, even if you don't attend. So not attending a course that you're enrolled into is not the same as dropping the course. So if you know you want to drop a course, make sure you do so as soon as possible and be really mindful of academic and financial deadlines. So the important dates page is what's linked on here. Again, UTM important dates, you'd be able to find it. That's where you can find all important information with regards to that. Now, probably the question everyone has when they attend these sessions is, which courses should I take? So we typically recommend prioritizing the courses required for your program. So because this is the sciences section of it, if you know biology, for example, is the program you're going for, those courses, as you're building your timetable, that's probably what you want to start with, is knowing what you need for your program or programs if you're going for multiple. And then with that too, consider your interests, your academic strengths, and don't be afraid to try something new. As we've been saying, your first year is the perfect time to explore, take some electives and a subject you might not take. Distribution is a great way to explore, and it's something you need for graduation anyway. You don't necessarily need to get it done in your first year, but a lot of students try to get it done. So it's out of the way, and like we've been saying, it's a great way to explore and introduce yourself to new programs. As a reminder, you'd be choosing your programs or actually applying to programs at the end of the winter term. Usually it's March, April, or once you've completed 4.0 credits. So now we have a sample schedule to show you. So this student is going for a biology program. So this is what their fall term looks like. As you can see, they have the bio required course, they have their part 1 of chemistry, they have their calculus. Seems like they're taking a Spanish course. Maybe they're using that language towards their humanities distribution. And then they're also taking political science, which could be for their social science distribution. And then we do have a conflict listed here. So this is one of the nuances or exceptions to it. And it's another important reason to read the timetable builder carefully. So for certain courses like the Chem 110, students have to enroll into the same tutorial section and practical section, which are offered at the same time. And there is a note on the timetable builder that explains the courses are going to be, or the sections are going to be alternating. So 1 week you'll have tutorial, 1 week you'll have practical. So they won't actually end up conflicting. And so you don't need to stress about them conflicting. It's because they will alternate. So again, this is a specific example to chemistry and another reason to really read the timetable builder carefully. So same thing, we'll look at their winter term. Seems like they have part 2 of their bio, the other part of their calculus, the chemistry. They're continuing Spanish because it is a Y course, so it is running from September to April. And it seems like they're taking a UTM1 course as well, either as an elective or potentially towards the distribution. And again, that same conflict with Chem 120, in this case, it is the same criteria that they will be alternating, which is why they may show conflicting, but it won't actually conflict once the course runs. Another really important reason to read the timetable builder is enrollment controls. So you may come across some courses that if you try to add now, it might not let you add it, and this could be because of enrollment controls. So enrollment controls limit initial enrollment to students who meet very specific criteria. So it could be students in specific admission categories or admission streams. This doesn't necessarily mean you can't enroll at all. It might just mean you have to try again at a later date. So timetable builder is where you'd see this information, and you can see there is a button or a section that says enrollment controls, and normally it'll say show explanation. That's where you can take a look. Now, as Melanie mentioned, after you enroll into your courses, you actually need to get registered in those courses. So right now you'll have an invited status. In order to get the registered status, there are two ways. One is either by paying your minimum fee, or the second option, if you're eligible, is deferring your fees. So payment options will include through your bank, so either in person or online, a credit card directly through Acorn, or higher ed points. Now, if you are paying from outside of Canada or for a non-Canadian bank, there are separate options, which if you look up on our student accounts website, you should be able to find. I will also add it in the chat after this presentation. And the second option for students who are receiving government student loans, such as OSAP, or if you have a scholarship that is covering the majority of your fees, you might be eligible for a fee deferral. You can register it that way. The fall winter registration guide is also a great resource for that, where you can see all the information, all the important deadlines of when you need to register by, either through payment or deferral. Now, to sum up this section, we discussed choosing your courses. So we want to start doing that research. The new student workbook that our squad leaders mentioned is a great resource for that. It really does break it down. And you can choose on your enrollment date, you can enroll into courses for both fall and the winter term. Make sure to enroll into them quickly because they do fill up. After you've enrolled, paying or deferring your fees. So make sure you're completing your registration by the deadline and once they become available on Acorn. So your invoice might not generate the day of your enrollment, but either the next day or day after, you should see it. And then once you've done that, you can start looking at getting your T card and your U of T account set up. So your T card is that student card that Melanie mentioned. That's a form of ID around campus. Getting your U of T account includes getting your email, getting your Wi-Fi access, and just accessing services across campus. Now, as we mentioned, if you have any questions, we know it's a lot of information. We know it's a transition. We're here to help you navigate that. So these are ways to connect with us. For our new students especially, we have tons and tons of supports. We have these course enrollment workshops. We have another one on Monday, I believe. And then we'll also be running course enrollment check-in sessions leading up to your enrollment date. So if you have questions as you're doing your planning, as you're doing the workbook, I encourage you to come attend. I promise you, likely other students have the same questions you have, so it's a great way to learn from each other as well. And then I believe that is our last slide. So now we'll transition into our Q&A.